Can this $700 training aid fix my over-the-top swing? Well, let's go down the driving range and find out. Before I tell you whether it instantly fixed my dodgy swing, you're probably wondering just how it's going to do it. Well, just the way Benjamin Franklin and Nikola Tesla would have wanted, with the use of good old electric shocks. If you're wondering how strong the shock actually is, I bravely tested it on my unsuspecting wife. The small wearable has several sensors inside which can track its 3D positioning. The team over at DeWiz have found a way to use that information with their accompanying app to show you what your golf swing looks like on a 3D avatar, giving you the ability to view your swing path from any angle that you want. So, how is all this clever tech going to fix your golf swing? After each swing, the app will show you several different types of measurements. For example, it can measure your swing tempo, the length of your golf swing, the length of your backswing, and your transition, aka whether you're coming over the top at the start of your downswing. In practice mode, you have the ability to set minimum and maximum tolerances for those measurements. For example, when you're trying to fix your slice, you don't really want to be coming over the top in your downswing, because as soon as you do, then you're going to get an electric shock from the watch. DeWiz calls this a learning stimuli, and the idea isn't to punish you, it's called the DeWiz, not the milligram, but instead to give you instant feedback to let you know that you've exceeded the limit of what you were trying to practice, i.e. you came over the top during your swing. The level of this stimuli can be tuned to your preference, from the tiniest of shocks that you don't even feel to a pretty significant jolt when turned right up to the max. This real-time feedback is genuinely unique, and I think it is helpful. Over time, it can be used to build your muscle memory and create the repeatable swing that you want. So, does it actually work? Did it fix my swing? Well, sort of, but not as I'd hoped. I really wanted to fix my over-the-top swing movement. And for me, this watch hasn't quite done that yet. The watch currently only has the ability to provide the learning stimuli for 4 areas: the length of your backswing, your tempo, the length of your backswing for your wedges, and your transition. Now, the transition is the one which should be fixing that over-the-top movement. However, it only measures your first 8 centimeters of your downswing. What I found using the DeWiz is that my first 8 centimeters of my downswing is generally under the plane of my backswing. And then I come over the top afterwards when I start throwing my shoulder like a drunk dad dancing at a wedding. And I can clearly see this in the data and the avatar images that the device is providing. You can see that it's telling me that my transition is under the plane, but you can clearly see that my swing is very much over the top. Now, using the device in discovery mode, you can set up the app to show you all of the information the watch is recording in any order that you like. And the app will even read out loud the top line of the information to you.
Tempo ratio 2.3 to 1.
So you can still receive real-time feedback on your swing for pretty much whatever measurement you want. And specifically for me, whether I'm steepening or shallowing the club during the downswing, because that's a good indication as to whether I'm coming over the top or not. However, these additional sources of information are not available to be used with the learning stimuli. You can only use the learning stimuli, the electric shock, with those 4 limited measurements at the moment. Now, DeWiz have told me that they are working on bringing more measurements to that learning stimuli mode, but it's not a priority for them right now. Now, despite being shouted at for several range sessions by the robot lady voice on the app, telling me every single time that I'm swinging too steep, I've not managed to improve my steepening of the club at impact. I'm still swinging over the top. And this is my first reservation with the watch, in that without the use of a human golf coach, I'm conscious that I could inadvertently do more damage to my swing by introducing a new movement or a new feeling to fix that one specific aspect of my swing, while actually breaking several other parts. So when it comes to using the DeWiz to fix specific aspects of your swing, I definitely recommend you use the device in addition to a coach. At $700 or around £550 in the UK, that's a big outlay, especially if you're already spending money on lessons. To help, DeWiz have provided me with an exclusive discount, which I've included down in the description below. And if you do like discounts, then make sure you sign up to my monthly newsletter as well, where I share the biggest and best golf deals around, both for the UK and US golfers. All the links are down in the description. Thankfully, the device does have more to offer for its hefty price tag. My personal favourite practice mode to use has been the tempo trainer. I think the watch really excels here, as measuring your tempo is really quite a tricky thing to do. And the electric stimuli gives you instant feedback on whether you're swinging too fast or too slow. A general rule of thumb is that 3 to 1 is a good tempo, so your backswing should take 3 times longer than your downswing. Generally, I've found that 2.5 to 1 is my sweet spot, and the watch has definitely helped me slow down my swing, which I think has led to some recent improvements in my game. I've shot a few rounds in the 80s, one of which was in a club competition, which I actually won. So I'm pretty much ready to go pro now. There's another practice mode where you can work on increasing the length of your backswing. But my backswing is a fairly decent length already, so I've not really been fussed about that mode. There's also a mode to practice your swing length control for your wedges. While I haven't been too bothered about that, I have found it kind of helpful to dial in 3 different swing lengths. One to the edge of my shoe, one to my hip, and then one is a full swing. Technical stuff, I know. And then I can measure how far each of those shots actually go with each one of my wedges. So I've got an idea of what's a 30-yard shot, what's a 50-yard shot, and what's an 80-yard shot. There's also a challenge mode you can use with your wedges where you can invite your friends to try and beat your score. To play, the app will call out a series of different swing lengths, and you'll have to try and get as close to that swing length as possible, and you'll score more points the closer you are to it. It was interesting to try the mode out once or twice, but for me, I just have enough trouble already just trying to get to my 3 different swing lengths that I want to get bedded in, let alone trying to feel the difference between an 82 and an 85cm swing. The app itself is really well put together. It's simple to use, easy to understand, and has a lot of helpful information on what all the data means for your swing. And there's plenty of short YouTube videos that DeWiz have provided as well to help accompany the data. I've also had no problems connecting the watch up to the app. It's worked seamlessly every single time. The watch also feels of a decent quality and it's very simple to use. The battery life is also fantastic, lasting multiple sessions and weeks between a single charge. To actually use the device, once you've put it on and connected it to the app, before you make a swing, you have to remain very still. Then you'll get a green light on your watch and you'll hear a tone from the app as well. So if you're a club waggler like Brian Harmon, you're gonna have to get used to a new swing routine. You have to remain very still before you start your swing. And even then, I've had a fair few warning messages suggesting that the data might be inaccurate because I wasn't as still as I could have been at the start of the swing. If you're anything like me, your swing down the range can be completely different to the swing that you actually bring to the golf course. There's nothing like a bit of pressure to send your timings off. So DeWiz are introducing an on-course mode for the watch as well, so you can look back at each of your shots post-round. And you can even press a button on the watch to mark a shot after you hit it, so you can easily find it in the app later if it felt particularly good or particularly bad. In summary, this is a luxury training aid. The information it provides is both impressive and interesting, and I can certainly see the benefit of really understanding your golf swing. But in my opinion, the device is far from essential. I suggest it makes more sense for a PGA Pro to have this in their arsenal rather than a golfer like you or me just to have one for the sake of it. If you can justify the cost and you like the idea of the device, then I say go for it, because there's a lot to like, except the price. Everyone would like a Ferrari, but no one really needs one, and only the minority can afford one. If all I care about is instant feedback when I come over the top, for me, putting an empty ball sleeve or a head cover on the outside of my path will give me instant feedback free of charge. I'm simply going to clatter into that object. Of course, the DeWiz does a lot more than just that. So if I want to work on my tempo or understand my swing in great detail, well, that's going to be a little harder to do with just an empty box of balls. Please smash the like button if you've enjoyed this video or found it helpful. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel. All the links and discounts to buy the DeWiz watch are included down in the description below. And if you are in the market for a way to improve your golf this year, then why not check out this video right here.